Hey guys, for today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, something fun. We're going to be doing some fall hair. So to see how we created this look, keep watching. If you guys want to keep up with me more, I'm pretty active on my Instagram stories. You can follow me there at Christy@thecottage. So here's my client that we're doing. This is for the most part her natural hair. That color down below that's kind of copper is a color that we put on. She used to be really bright red and she loved her color, but her job told her that she couldn't have a natural colored hair anymore. So we ended up doing like a coppery tone, which actually worked out really good for COVID because that would have been really bad, the color that she had, and then to have, you know, such bad growth. So it ended up working out for her in the long run. But anyway, she's working somewhere else now, got a new job, and she's allowed to do her hair however she wants. So she wants to get back into doing something fun and exciting. So that's what we're gonna do today. She told me purple was like the main focus, but pretty much free creative control on my part. So I thought, let's just have some fun with it and do some fun colors and kind of mix it up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do today. I know I didn't mention it earlier, but what I'm using to lift her hair, as always, is Schwarzkopf Blonde Me with 20 volume and Olaplex. And I'm kind of deciding that we're just gonna like bleach all of her hair out. I don't know that I want to go all the way through like the nape of the neck. So just to start, we're going to do basically the crown area, and then to leave just like a little bit of her natural in, I'm going to do just like a larger triangle section kind of in the bottom half of her head. That way we have some color in through there. She has her hair basically one length, so I felt like we didn't really have to bleach every single piece of her hair out. I felt like if the general like tone is pretty even everywhere, you know, as far as the color goes, being able to see all these colors, I felt like the underneath didn't really have to be done if it didn't need to be, and you're not going to really be able to see it. So I felt like just adding a little bit of the color underneath there versus doing like the whole thing would have been fine. And that way, as it grows out, she'll have her natural kind of on the outline of her hair, and the color will fall on the inside. So that way, you know, when she pulls her hair up or whatever, it won't be as noticeable. So right now we're just going to be doing bleaching out her hair, and I've been the one to do her hair all these years, so I'm confident with doing this service on her because I know that her hair can handle this and not be damaged. So that's one of the good things that I really like about using Schwarzkopf, is that it really protects the hair, it really prevents damage from happening. So I told her we'll just have to see how light her hair gets, just because she does have that previous pigment on her hair from before. So we're just kind of like waiting to see how much her hair is going to lift. However, I told her it might be kind of stuck at a warmer, brassier stage, which is fine because we're going to be putting color on top of it. But I told her we probably won't be able to do like a super pastel purpley tone. So, but you know, that's kind of the nice thing about her, is that she doesn't really care. She's just like, I want purple and I really don't care what it looks like. So this is what we're doing and how we're going to start her service, just going through and bleaching out her roots. And then later on, we will go through and hit her scalp with the Schwarzkopf 20 volume with Olaplex. So just while the video is playing, I'm going to address something. I want you guys to know that I try to respond to every single one of my comments as of right now, that I'm capable of getting back to. maybe it takes a few days, but I always try to get back to you guys because I feel like that's really important to me, is to let you guys know that I hear you and I see you guys, and I appreciate that you do take the time to comment on my videos and interact and everything. I love your guys' feedback and any questions or comments or whatever it is that you guys have to say. Normally, I don't get anything negative, but there have been a few things where I feel like people comment, and I don't know if they think I'm not going to see it or I'm not going to pay attention, but with my personality type, and this is probably going to bite me in the butt, but I can't let that stuff go. Like, I don't know if that makes me like the B word or whatever, but I get really like defensive sometimes, and I know that's kind of a fault of mine when you're putting yourself out there for everybody to see and for people to comment, and I welcome the comments, but I just want people to just remember that there is somebody on the other side that's going to read these comments, and I feel like it's easy for people to just say things and just feel like there's no, like, it's just like, oh, whatever, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and who cares? And I feel like people should be more understanding. I've had somebody say something once about the fact that I use a board when I'm doing either foiling or, you know, how I'm doing bleach work right now. And the reason is because if, like, the person commented that I need to learn how to foil and how to anchor my foils, and, you know, all this other stuff that it shouldn't take me that many hours to do a service, and $600 for a service is way too much or whatever. That's fine if that's how you are. But for me, for one, I have to use a board because a few people have asked me about this. I use a board not because I'm not capable of foiling, but because my hand cramps really bad if I stabilize the foil with my hand. And I realized like a few months ago when I started foiling with a board or using a board that my hand doesn't cramp nearly, I mean, not at all even when I use a board. And I feel like with this industry, our body can wear down so fast, whether it's our shoulders, our back, our hands, our wrists, or whatever. I feel like if you can find something that helps you through the day to be able to do your job in a good way and that you're not slacking on your work or anything, do whatever it is that works for you. For me, that is using a board. If I have to sit there and hold my hand out and like support the foil, being in that position for sometimes like 5 hours straight, my hand gets really crampy and my arms are starting to go numb at night. And so for me, using a board really prevents that from happening. So it's not because I'm not capable of foiling the hair. It's not because I don't know how to foil. It's because this is what works best for me, and this is going to be what I continue doing for as long as it does work and as long as it prevents, you know, any damage happening from my hand. There have been a few times where I've woken up in the middle of the night where my arms have been completely numb and they don't come back. The feeling doesn't come back, and that really scares me. I've been in the industry for at least 17 years, so I know that I'm probably getting to the point where, you know, carpal tunnel potentially is going to be an issue. So I think we should all just support each other. If we see somebody, you know, however they're doing their work, if it's a different technique or different style than what we do, like, we should just respect that person and how they choose to do their work, because none of us are the same. If you could ask 100 hairstylists how to do something, and almost all of us are going to give you a different answer. And that's kind of the great thing about being a hairstylist, is that we can have our own creative, you know, outlet and how we do things and things that work best for us, and we can share with others. So just please keep that stuff in mind when you're commenting, not just on my stuff, but other people too, because, you know, we all don't know what's going on with that person or why they do certain things a certain way. But it's probably not because they don't know how to do something. It's probably just because that works best for them. So anyways, just keep that stuff in mind. And if you're still listening, I appreciate it, because as you guys all know, I tend to go off on a ramble sometimes. Okay, now that we're reaching the top of her head, I'm just finishing up her mohawk section. And then once I'm done with this, I apologize. I tried recording, but my phone kept shutting off on me because it was filling up with space. So I had to figure out a way how to expand my iCloud. I hate iPhone, but I've done it before where it's supposed to be like unlimited and then it doesn't, and then it fills up, and then I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully this time it really is unlimited. So I wasn't able to capture some of the footage when I did that little triangle section kind of in the nape of her neck, and then also when I went through and hit her roots. But basically for doing her roots, I just pulled the foils back a little bit and then went through and hit her roots and let it all continue processing. So that's how I finished that part of the service off. I probably let it sit for maybe 20 minutes or so, and then we went to wash her hair. All right, so you can see here that her natural hair processed really nicely, got really light, but her ends are still kind of brassy, which is fine for the color that we'll be doing. I ended up doing an Olaplex treatment on her hair just to be safe and make sure that her hair was nice and healthy. And you can see that we're now gonna blow dry her hair, and through the ends, you can see here that she has probably like that inch thickness of her natural, and then underneath that we did like that triangle section that I was talking about earlier of the bleach section. That way she has some of her natural falling on top of it, but through the underneath she'll still have some of that purple and color incorporated, just like she will have at the top. Here's the purples that we will be using. This is the Joico Metallic Violet, and then also the Goldwell Illumin VV All, I guess it's called. I've used that Goldwell Illumin color quite a few times, and this is a more expensive purple. It really holds on to the hair. It has minimal fading. This is one of those colors where if you don't want your color to fade out, or if you really want to stay in there, like if you are committed to purple, then this is the purple for you. It's gonna really hold on and last, and I've had really good luck with this color on other services that I've used it on. I will say with the Joico, I felt like it almost was a little bit too pastel. I wish that I maybe would have added just like a little dab of this darker purple into it, just to give it a little bit more, like, I don't know, just a little bit more depth to it. I wanted it to be a softer purple, but it was almost like gray kind of, because it was too soft of a metallic-y color, which I guess that's fine. But, and we were still happy with the color, but that's something that I noticed. I'd never used it before. So for her color, what I decided on doing is to do this darker Illumin Violet color on all of her roots. I feel like when you're doing fantasy colors, I feel like having a darker color at the root, if you're gonna have multiple colors in the hair, I feel like having the darker color at the root looks better, and then having like the lighter colors kind of towards the end. Another thing that I wanted to do was incorporate like kind of a copper reddish tone, just to add some interest into the color and just kind of give it some more dimension instead of just being all purple. I know that she likes the red because of the previous color that we had done, and I know that I forgot to put it in here, but I used Paul Mitchell the Demi, the 6 RO, and the 9 orange, and that's the color that we used for her hair for this red color that I'm putting in now. I basically did equal parts. So sorry that I forgot to capture all of that stuff. But so yeah, I wanted to add some different tones into her hair, kind of break it up a little bit. Not like any particular pattern, just kind of, I knew that I wanted to do the darkest purple at her roots and then kind of alternate the reddish color with the lightest purple back and forth from, you know, what order I was going to put those in. So another thing that I noticed when you're doing fantasy colors, I feel like if you're going to be having cool and warm tones together, I feel like it looks better to have the cooler tones at the scalp and then having it fade down to the warmer tones like through the mid shaft to the ends. I just think it looks better that way, and I know that's just my personal preference, but I think it's because to me it just kind of looks off balance when somebody has like a brighter color at the roots and then a darker color through the ends, and I feel like it looks that way when you're using fantasy colors because ashier, cooler colors look darker and warmer colors look brighter and lighter. So I feel like if you have the red and orange colors at the roots and then a cooler color like purple or blue or something like that, even if it's not necessarily darker, it will appear darker just because it's more cool. So that's just something that I try to keep in mind when I do colors like these, which, you know, honestly isn't very often. But I feel like I want to always make sure that I keep the cooler tones at the root and then bring the warmer tones kind of throughout here and there, but not too much to be overpowering. But that's just something that I picked up on and noticed. So that's just how I kind of like to do it. And I know everybody has a way that they like to do it, and that's fine, but that's just kind of what I feel like. So I figured that this back section that I'm doing right now would be easier just to hit her roots with that darker purple color just to get it out of the way. And then I'm going to take some of this metallic lighter purple and kind of blend the colors together. And I'm not doing it consistent the whole way through. I'm not doing like purple, red, light purple, purple, red, light purple. I'm not doing that throughout the whole thing. I'm trying to do like intermix the colors a little bit. That way it's not like a perfect pattern. I want it to kind of flow kind of freely, just being consistent with the darker purple up at the root. But I honestly wanted to just have little hints of the coppery color here and there, and, you know, focusing mostly on the purple and having some spots of the red kind of going throughout. But in the end, and I honestly didn't think I put that much of the purple in it. It ended up showing up a lot more than I thought it was going to, and I don't know if it's just because it's brighter, but she was really happy with it and really loved the color, and I really liked it too. But it was definitely a fun color to do. But yeah, so you can see here that I'm just trying to blend the colors together and have fun with it. Now that we're working into the crown area and going to be heading up into the mohawk section, I'm going to be taking the purple and I'm going to drag it down just a little bit further in this area, just because I want it to look kind of darker, as if the crown, you know, if you do a root shadow and you do it a little bit darker in the crown area. So that's why I'm dragging the purple down a little bit further. One thing that I'll say is you really need to make sure that you're overly saturating the hair. Like, however much color you think you're putting on, like, put more on, because if you're not careful, then you can get holes in the hair where you didn't saturate evenly. Even if you think you did, like, chances are there might be a spot showing through still. So just make sure that you stock up on enough color when you're doing this kind of service, because if you just get like one tube for the whole head, chances are you're gonna run out. So just make sure that you stock up and grab multiple boxes if you need to, just because this really absorbs the color and sucks it in and doesn't get a lot of spread. So just be cautious of that too. For the sides of her head, I am going to go a little bit heavier with the purple, just because this was kind of the main focus that she wanted with her hair. So I'm kind of doing a little bit heavier in the root area with the purple, and then just kind of bringing some of that warmer color, that pretty red, through the ends. And then we will flip her onto the other side. And even though I'm not keeping a consistent pattern with doing like red or the purple, red, light purple, at least I'm doing a consistent like side to side, so that way each side of the head has balance. I don't want it to feel like one side of the head has more purple or more red than the other. So everything that I'm doing on one side, I'm doing on the opposite side, just to make sure that everything flows nicely and has good balance. I kind of wanted to talk about, before I run out of time, how to care for fantasy colored hair if you either are a client that has your hair done in fun colors, or if you're a hairstylist and you're not sure what to recommend for your clients. So what I always tell my clients is to, for one, don't wash your hair for at least 3 days. Honestly, I tell them that with any color that I do, because I really want to make sure that the toner or color is settling into the hair and gives the cuticle time to close. So I always tell my clients, especially with, fun colors like this, don't wash your hair for at least 3 days to a week. And that's usually what my clients do. They're like, oh, I won't wash my hair for a week, so we're good. And then I always tell my clients, absolutely no hot water. Use as cold of water as you can handle. This is going to prevent your hair cuticle from opening up and causing the color to bleed out. I've had red hair before, and I know that anytime that I use hot water, I can see the color just bleeding so much. But when I use cold water, I definitely don't notice it hardly at all. So that really makes a difference when you wash your hair with cold water. Another thing is what products to use. So I was told in a color class that I took that the best color shampoo that you can use for your hair, not just for like, a permanent color for like gray coverage or whatever, but if you're actually doing fantasy color, is to use a cleansing conditioner. And I don't know if Matrix has any right now, but they used to have these like cucumber melon or cucumber whatever cleansing conditioners, and like these big, or like a pomegranate even, and these really big green bottles. And the reason why is because if you use a regular shampoo, then it actually goes in and opens like the hair follicle, and it cleanses the hair from like inside the hair shaft too. And so when it does that, that can cause the hair color to fade, where if you're just doing like a cleansing conditioner, it sits on top of the hair and just kind of gently cleanses the hair, like just sitting on top of it versus actually going inside of the hair. So that's why they recommend using like a cleansing conditioner versus like actual color treated hair shampoo. And that I learned from a Matrix color specialist that came in, hosted a class, and I was actually really shocked to hear that. So I will say that I have recommended a cleansing conditioner to my clients that do fantasy color, and they do say that they notice a difference. And one thing is too, is that it doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel like they're not getting, as good of products on their hair. It actually is really soft for the hair, and the hair feels really good after using it. So I highly recommend that you tell your clients that get fantasy colors to get a cleansing conditioner that will be softer for their hair, to use cold water. And of course, the less you wash your hair, the less fading that you'll have, and the longevity of your color will be really, really good. The more you wash your hair, the more it's going to fade out, whatever. Sometimes I tell clients, like, if you wash your hair too much, then you might really only have a few washes before you lose that vibrancy. So my clients that come in and do colors like this, I mean, they will tell me without me having to tell them that if they go like 2 months between colors, they might only wash their hair like 6 or 7 times in that 2-month time frame. So they're really trying to make sure that they keep their hair in good condition, that they're not fading the color out or anything like that. So definitely look that up if you're kind of questioning it. But I was kind of shocked to hear that about the shampoo, that the cleansing conditioner works better. So I highly recommend that if you have clients that do colors like these. Maybe just go grab a color for them if you don't have anything or a shampoo for them if you don't have anything available for them at the salon. Maybe you can just pick something up for them and they can buy it off of you. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I think it's like Biolage Matrix or something, like pomegranate or cucumber cleansing conditioner, I really, really liked, and they felt really good. So I recommend that for these kind And now that we're finished with the mohawk, we're going to go through and finish the sides of the hair, and we're really focusing on the purple. We have that reddish color through those bottom foils. So in this top section of the hair, I really wanted the purple to be like the main focus, keep that more around her hairline. So we're going to just do the darker purple and then run the lighter purple through the ends. And we are gonna let this sit and process for probably like 25 minutes. And now we're pulling these colors out. Look how pretty they are. Look at that dark purple. It just looks like such a pretty grape color with that lighter color on top of it, and these little coppery pieces that are throughout there too. Some of the things that I love the most is pulling foils out and seeing the color just makes me so happy. Here's her before again, just super plain Jane, and we're gonna do something fun. And here is the after. She was in love with her hair. It was perfect for Halloween coming up. She felt like it looked like a sunset. We just loved it so much, and it was such a fun transition. It was probably like 5 hours or so. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the time that you spend watching my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.